Discover cowrie shell divination, ancient wisdom at your fingertips. You set the shells, I decode your answers, love, career, and more. We've got the guidance you seek. Tap into shamanic roots, uncover your inner energy, chase your dreams. Learn from the wisdom of tribal mystics, bridging the gap to your potential. Supercharge your experience with us. Book now at tanyad.tv for self-discovery, and I will see you on the other side. Ashe. Inshallah and Ashe. Welcome back to part 2 of this Mystic Monday on this September 18th. I'm going to dive into the Elemental Highway and also the messages from the Fae, which I'm super excited about. I love the Fae. I connect with the Fae. If you've yet to subscribe to my Musing newsletter, I'm actually diving in about really connecting with the otherworldly beings on this week's message, I should say. But with that, the Elemental Highway this week, let me get this out of the way on this Mystic Monday, and also I'm going to move that. Fantastic. So on the Elemental Highway, we've got a very yin inner world energy today. This is a lot going on inside of us. The element of fire was actually needed that last week, if you tuned in. And today you can tell we have no fire as well. Fire is a resource for an earth person. Earth is nurturing. It's what we identify with. It's where I belong, etc. But this week, knowing that we need fire today and also possibly tomorrow, I'm feeling like spirit connection, our spirit, the helping spirits, our gatekeepers, guardians, the great spirit, the oneness. So again, our entire day is yin energy. And this really is, it's the inward journey. It's about soliciting our inner starlight, our inner solitude, contemplation inside of us, contemplating yin earth, courage, that would be the metal, being courageous, crafting new words, inside voice. It's luxury words. It's being a refined leader. Metal for the earth is our performance. And water, the yin water, that's inner peace. Someone or thing may be disrupting our inner peace. Too much yin energy, we got to get connected with our yang energy, which, that water brings me to the moon, Pluto, Neptune. 2 of them are off on holiday, right? But water for an Earth Day master, Earth beings, people born on a day of Earth, that is abundance. What we get on the return, being in the flow, reconciling our abundance. It's a universal bank account in a way. And wood for an earth person in this case, we've got 2 productive rabbits. Rabbits, by the way, the rabbits and the rooster, these 2 energies are in conflict. So it's like our innovation being flexible, going against the refined structure. It's kind of like people who feel like they don't belong, but they're going against the forces of adversity in a way. Metal's refined, it's alchemizing, it's strong in the fall season, the autumn, by the way. But this is going against structure. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. Nature is going into hibernation. It's losing energy, vital energy. In the season, they're 2 opposing forces. One's the rise of yang energy, the other one's the rise of yin energy in a very yin day. But nonetheless, we do have some innovative inner leaderboard kind of kindness. And again, fire. Fire is charisma. It's also Mars. It's the sun. It's initiating an action, the actions we initiate, bringing us resources. Light a candle, connect with fire. Could be a fire being, an ancestor, your dreams, your visions. And write them out, contemplate, muse upon the words. However, fire and also earth do something nurturing to your being, whether it's through updating an old habit or fleshing out an outdated one. Be innovative and also creative, filling into your body. So what does your body need for vitality and sustenance? And again, so the messages of this week, I love the Fae. If you know me, I was feeling the Fae. I'm going on a quest for an animal deck. So if you do have one that really blows up your skirt, let me know. I would love to see it and play with that. I haven't had one really blow up my skirt. But for today on Mystic Monday, because I'm all about names, we've got Geo the Slow. Geo, the slow moving, which you may not see the transitions of nature, but everything is in divine timing, and we too are a part of nature. But Geo is part of what they call the helpline troop. These are the Fae that are associated with the elemental realm. So you know I love them. I love them all, actually. Let's be real. But this tells me help is on the way. And when I say the elemental realm, I'm talking about all the elementals of this world and also the elementals not of this world. Earth, air, wind, fire, water, moonlight, night sky, Mars, Pluto, the galaxy, Jupiter, all the things. They're all full of life, fun, joy, laughter. That is their gift and their purpose. It's the poetry of life, which all the Faes are, to be honest. They all bring this in. However, this is the cycles of time. This is the slowness. It reminds me of the tortoise over the rabbit. And interesting enough, we've got the two rabbits, right? So this is being patient. It's being in waiting. It's waiting and wanting. And the 43, that's believing in the innovation. This is spirit being a space, holding space for spirit, fire, the realm of spirit. So this would be like the angelic realm. It'd be the singers, even of the other world, the beings that we can't see in the unseen, but actually they are here. We've always got tons of eyes upon us out in nature. But he's the gnome of the slow process. He's earth. So gnomes are generally of the earth when it comes to the Fae. So it's like, how long is it going to take for the water to move, literally move a rock? And I won't go into that thing. That just came in, Libya. Blessings for that. Oh, goddess. Or how long does it take water to boil? It always takes water longer to boil when you stare at it, right? Or how much has the mountain grown or even eroded over time and space? In this case, the earth is kind of eroding. I mean, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but we're having some elemental earth processes is what I will say. But Geo is the watcher. He's very attentive of all things nature, and he makes certain that things don't happen too fast, resulting in a shifty job like the earth quaking. That's Geo's job, is to make sure that doesn't happen. And then when it does, what's the message? But it's him who watches the waves kind of move in further on the seashore, wearing away at the cliffs, but also keeping things in checks and balances. He's watching the mountains slowly grow taller, peaking, while others grow smaller. He's the master of clarity, clarification, in the process of getting clear about something, where we allow something to sit quietly while the impurities, the toxicities, slowly kind of settle themselves out. It reminds me of like shaking a rug, I guess, when you're outdoors, and just allowing the substance to really purify itself through time and space. He's the gnome that does not understand why we rush about, missing out on the slow transformations and the changes in all of the worlds around us. And he's amazed at not just the stress, but even, I would say, the chaos, the problems that we create for ourselves for doing that, or even for others. Wondering, he's the wonderer, I will say, how we can survive if we don't just take a breath and a pause and sit down and really watch the beauty of a sunset or a sunrise. Or if we say that we do not have time to really authentically, really enjoy our day-to-day lives, especially if we are so busy rushing around with the idea, that usually aren't even ours, by the way, that we're making things better for ourselves for later on, and then we never do so. This is like being in the now, being in the moment, being in the now, in that moment. And the thing about him is that all these processes, because everything processes, they all proceed in their own time and in great order and great timing. But being that we're in the harvest, that's what we're in. We're in the fall harvest, metal, the moon, the earth, the cycles of time and space, the spring, the summer, the fall. Like, we're always in transition, all the things, all the time, even into winter where we get to hibernate, hopefully. Everything is in its own balance, in its own equilibrium. It's not too fast. Reminds me of Goldilocks. It's not too slow, the hot and the cold, right? But these are just the natural processes that work through time and space, whether we're aware of them or not, even in our day-to-day realities. So it's fantastic, really, to utilize them, use their own gift and purpose their magic, their medicine, where things really progress at their own time and their own innate value, to really enjoy the growth, the progress, and see it happening, even the infinite joy. The world's not going to turn any faster, so we might as well give things time and space and enjoy our day-to-day lives. Time actually, you know, or maybe you don't know, we're really not here that long, to be honest, right? We're kind of a glimmer in time. So this is a message that we do need to take the breath, take the pause, slow down, and really contemplate, especially on a day like today, like being in your rocking chair, sitting on your front porch, and really asking ourselves, why are we going so fast? What do we hope to gain from moving so quickly? Metaphorically, are we trying to like push the river to go faster, time, space? And, you know, what kind of undue stress are we creating when we're in the rush? You know, we flow organically. So if you are out and about today, I would say hitting a bunch of red lights, that's really a sign to slow down, get centered, take a breath, enhance the pause. So Geo is indicating that the situation or the issue at hand is also part of a long process that really cannot be rushed. So it's important to really settle in for the long haul, the long-term goal, to really release and set our pace, a pace that we can really maintain as long as we actually need it to be into the flow, while at the same time remaining embodied, relaxed, and patient. So if you are short on patience, it's time to really cultivate more patience, cultivate more of that. So asking yourself, where in your life today can you really slow down, embody some patience around you? That's kind of what I'm feeling there. And then on Terrific Tuesday, I'm telling you, the messages this week are fantastic. You're not going to believe it. This is great. This is the Lady of the Harvest in the season of the harvest, like really. 18, so we go from 7 spirit to 9. So this is like initiating. We're going through an initiation, a process of the harvest, really committing to our heart, taking action. Maybe we got to go clean up the leaves. Everything we do is on behalf of the harvest, our heart-derived harvest, acting upon our heart, the fall season. It reminds me of a remodel, a cleansing, where things are actually coming together. But she's actually part of the she, if you're new to my channel. These are the lords and the ladies. They bring the energies of the singers into this world. I would say the galactic angelic beings. They're kind of the dance. They're the mediators of the dance in the sky, in the early mornings, possibly the witching hour. They do this dance to bring in these energies of the singers, bringing them into manifestation throughout all of the worlds. And they do this for the pure joy molecules, which I love. These are the ones who create and nurture and build all of the worlds. I feel like she's also possibly the mother of the gnomes that we have. I'm just saying. But they build all the worlds. They're the inhabitants of all of those worlds included. But they're available to each of us as guardians, teachers, comforters, gatekeepers, and so much more. So these kind of are, I would say, the miracle makers, pulling the miracle out of the hat. But the Lady of the Harvest, I don't think I've actually had her on my show, to be honest, but I love that she's here today. She's all about the completion of something. Something's being completed. We're giving it time and space. It's the harvest. It's releasing. It's the fall. It really goes with the energy of the month. But metal energy is also grief. It's also loss. It's feeling lost, even, maybe abandoned. So we get her after we actually experience the nurturing, fulfilling, I would say the blossoming of the lotus of the bright mother, which is her sister, right? But the Lady of the Harvest really reminds me of Virgo energy, right? Where the bright mother would probably be more like Cancer, the mom, the bright mother. And then there is a dark mother, which is Scorpio, which I have a Scorpio moon, so that's kind of how that fills in. But either way, she's also called the old woman or the crone. So it's process of life, right? So she really helps us, assists us to let go of what is already finished, and it liberates. It's very liberating. We're liberating ourselves to move on to the next phase of our activities, whether it's a relationship, even in the natural world. where the old becomes compost and the new growth is in our lives. It's like leaves falling in the fall, right? So she helps us to really adapt and transform and change into this releasing. She's often associated with things like regret, grief, loss. I would say long, large intestine, right? The corporal Poe, if you will. And we do need to be in the space. These things are kind of these are like basic phases, if you will. Grief often can be shocking. It can also be where we're in denial, anger, grief, emotional storms, acceptance, regaining of our perspective, having a mountaintop perspective, the beginning of healing and nurturing, even the deepening of our capacity for congruency and love. So she understands grief. She's also very patient. She's she's kind, not just kind of, she is kind. So as we go through these oftentimes painful processes of the process of letting go and allowing, again, it's coming down to really being patient and kind within ourselves, all that yin energy. So we should also note that the grieving process is really the same for little losses just as much as it is for big ones. Only the scale of time, the intensity of our emotions, they vary, but they're very, very enormous. So we might go through all the grieving stages of a small loss within a few moments, while a greater loss may need more time and space. But she's also the queen of letting go of business, maybe business that's gone sour. So there's a lot of things that will really bring more joy, make us lighter, make us feel happier, have more freedom. So when we release those aspects, we release them, whether it's old things we're creating, traumas, even different stages in our life, because we begin in birthing phase, right? Then we've got our teenage, we become adults, maybe we become mature, and then hopefully we become wise. Those are the phases that we're glad maybe to have finished. Maybe we want to go revisit another phase. Unhappy relationships, feelings that cause us pain, things that inhibit our growth. Sometimes we need to be in the comforts even and just finish with one aspect of our lives, and then we move into the next. This is happening all the time, right? And when we do so, that's like we're anticipating the next one. We're doing it with joy, with happiness, hopefully some inner peace, right? So these releases are really a cause for celebration, the celebration of life. The old crone, the old woman, joyfully celebrating life with us. So hopefully you can see in the message, I don't know if you can see all the other little fae in there around her. One side is like the harvest. So we have kind of this patience and acceptance of both loss, grief, endings. But we also have joy, the celebration, and the liberation on the other side. So we've got two sides of the coin. And when we liberate something within ourselves or out into the world, that's when we grow. We burst through the soil to be accepted and released and liberated. So the lady of the harvest being here today, to be more like her, developing these capacities, these abilities within each and every one of us, being in that attunement. However, this energy is blocked, so it's a liberating energy. We may refuse to accept a loss. Maybe we're clinging to the outgrown pains, the traumas, something that we're limiting ourselves, limiting ideas, limitations. So we may actually deny into our day-to-day reality where we're in the shock denial. Those are kind of the first stages of transformation through grief. But we do need to move on. We got to move past that to eventually gain a healthy balance, being in the moment, in the present, and even in the now. So if we stay in denial, the grief cannot heal. Denial can be the denial of reality, the denial of our feelings. Either one prevents us from moving into healing, and the universe is going to move on anyway. So we have no choice but really to kind of flow and move with it. And if her energy is twisted, the energy of releasing can move into various directions. One possibility can be the letting go of a program, an automatic process, if you will, like a computer program where we upgrade, if you will, where we compulsively push away things that we actually do want and we actually do need. And then another twist, because when the energy is opposing, it's twisted, it's blocked. Yeah, twisted or blocked. So this would be to turn away from the things in our lives that really do give us pure joy, satisfaction, make us feel fulfilled, because we cannot just have that one thing that we want. So it does kind of seem reasonable to have nothing at all, which reminds me of a song. So it's kind of this sulking kind of energy that makes us feel small, and it can easily be carried to the extreme. So if it's in a destructive mode, in the destructive mode of releasing, it's that saying, if you love something, let it go. And if it doesn't come back, hunt it down and kill it. I actually had an old boyfriend say that to me, and I was like, okay, then I'd rather be dead, because this is not living. And it was heartfelt. It was the truth. This is the, if I can't have it, no one will kind of attitude from the outside. So these attitudes seem obviously ridiculous and somewhat selfish and kind of dumb, if you will. But if somebody's get caught in one of these rational, less rational stages of the process of grieving, this may seem like the only solution for them, a solution that is not a solution to anything at all. So that's kind of where that's fading in. And then on Wizardry Wednesday, we've got another gnome. This is Meek, the Mecronancer. But I don't know if you're part of Uncover Secrets of the Other World, but we do have the gnomes of the earth. We had Geo the Slow. Now we've got Meek the Myomancer actually, but the 42. So it's like, are you ready to really open up and accept a feeling, a higher frequency, a tribe of where you really resonate? He too is part of the helpline troop. I think they're brothers, actually, not to fear. So again, help is on the way. It's just our perspective. But these are the small clues. These are the finite details, the messages that are everywhere if we're opening up to them. And again, being patient, being authentic, being patient. So if you notice that patience seems to really be the thread so far. So this little gnome, Meek, M-Y-K of all names, Meek, I really like that. He reads the past, the present, and the potential of all beings, the movements even of mice, and I would say of men, I would even say of ants, all the small things, the little things. So we don't see the small movements, the momentum, the hidden information, the little patterns of growth, the coloration of the winds, the rippling winds, the leaves rippling through the air, how the leaves float with messages. The small things can really tell us a lot. It's about being in that space. So everything bears messages, right? About the universe all around us all the time, synchronicities. Even studying the fine details sometimes, choreographing the language, if you will. It really enables us to really kind of deduce the entirety, the whole, the microcosm and the macrocosm. The entire universe is like this one piece, and each fragment or thread, depending, of the one, the unity. It all reflects, it's all connected to each and other, on all the others. Just even the lifting of the finger disturbs the furthest star. It reminds me of, I think it's the Marvel character, Doctor Strange, when he shows them the little jewel, I guess. But it also works the other way around, the opposing forces. So it does take time to make a slow, observant study of the little things. There are even smaller details in the world around us. The studying of it, it not only helps us to really enhance our understanding of life, the oneness, even the finite details, everything in unity, but it also helps us to develop a joyful, patient, even a deeper philosophy. So his message is to really pay attention to the details, which is, again, our month. So it's very important. Little things are not only important within themselves, the value of them, but they also give us those important messages or memoirs, information about the bigger things, the larger things, the escalating things. So looking for the inner hidden meaning in the ordinary objects, different happenings, experiences. So life is really trying to teach us something by speaking to us gently, subtly, subtle energy, softly with love. Even through applications, practice, right? Practice, ritual. You're going to get the message before it has to speak to us loudly, more loudly, right? Body language. Body language is humans as well as in otherworldly beings. Again, I'm going to say of mice, men, and ants. The body speaks a language. This may give us very useful information, like in the now, in the present, especially if we learn to read it properly, the clues to the answers that we may be seeking. The things we need to know are really all around us, but we are always surrounded by omens, portents, signs, sigils. But the signs are not really written on billboards, right, in big, large letters. Often they are these small, intricate happenings that are happening all the time in our life. I really found it curious that we had Geo the Slow and Meek right next to each other, next to the harvest. So it really is time to be awake, to be aware. And if you work out what the question truly is inside of yourself, that yin energy, it's much easier to recognize the answer when it does float in, when it does come. Possibly along the cloud lines, just saying. Usually for me, it's in threes. So just saying that. And then on Thursday, tantalizing Thursday, we have Indy, which he's juggling those two small balls, little Indy there. I love him. So these are things large and small. And he's part of the fairy challengers. So this tells me that we're going to be kind of triggered, possibly a challenge. These are the fae that bring us face to face with our fears, denials, traumas, insecurity, delusion, confusion, so on and so forth. He is otherworldly. These are the ones that stick their foot out in front of us to see if we're paying attention to where we're going, what's happening around us. They test our alertness, awareness, insight, knowledge, wisdom, all the things that are happening for us and bringing us to the breakdown into the breakthrough. Sorry about that. My phone's ringing off the hook, but testing our alertness, our awareness, our insight, knowledge, wisdom, and to see if we are dedicated to our own personal growth. So these tasks in these challenges really are like the breakdown to get to the breakthrough, to get us to the other side. And we know that we have to pass them, or they know we have the ability to pass them to move us to a higher level of consciousness of being. But Indy is the indecision. It's being wishy-washy. It's commitment. It's making the decision. So it's here, it's where if we don't get the wish, we get the wash. So it's kind of like that. Probably not. However, because by the time we think we've got a commitment from him, he's swung the other way again. It really is like the pendulum. So he really can't decide either on this, that, or the other thing. So he's the being that sits on our shoulders as we wobble around trying to make a decision. And just as we think we about got it, that's when he whispers in our ear, but what if? What if, right? And then the confusion starts all over again. It's the what if. Decisions often make him really nervous because they do involve commitment, heartfelt commitment, right? So he seems to be frightened of the commitment, that what if we make the wrong decision? What if it becomes ruined? But what if? Maybe somebody else, creates the chaos and the no decision, that does create and cause that ruin. But what if? There's a variety of reasons why we hesitate, and him too. So when decision and action are really appropriate, most of them do boil down to fear. If you're making a mistake through fear of harming others, fear of losing something of value to yourself, fear of harming yourself, fear of responsibility, fear that we are simply not able to make a proper decision, that's when we need to look honestly at our own inner insecurities and recognize them for what they really are. They are our insecurities, not reality. Then we need to resolve what we can, set the rest on the balance. I see it on a tree trunk, an arm of a tree, a branch, against what we surely could happen if we continue to hesitate. Even premature decisions and actions often create problems, but lack of a decision is a decision as well. Also, one that we create sometimes can create misfortune, mishabitats, if you will. But what's curious about Indy is he's also known about Libra's bane. An indecisive Libra is truly Indy's bane. So he would be so relieved if we would just make our decisions, our commitments, stick to it enough, And then he might learn to do this for himself, be in a better position to really assist others. So how would our learning to make decisions help Indy to make a decision? Would it really do so? What would he do? And how would he better help other beings having problems in doing that? Wouldn't, you have to kind of, would the other beings that are having problems cause Indy not to learn to make his own decisions? Or are there no people that he really knows that he can learn from now that he could be different? Or, maybe we're talking about an environmental shifting here. So what he's trying to say is that oftentimes, it's possible to learn from watching others learn, being an observation. He would love to do that, and he might be able to teach us through these processes. But again, maybe not. But again, what if? So being that Indy is otherworldly, what if we may not have enough information to make this informed decision? That's kind of what it is. It's kind of like telling us to hesitate while we're kind of questioning ourselves, finding out more, be true. Is it true? There's never real guarantees. We got to go with the feeling. The universe is always in alignment with us. Outcomes, but kind of be cautious. This is like being throwing caution not into the wind. It's time to really learn more, get agreements and writings. And if it doesn't feel quite right, possibly it is not quite right. And consider well before you make those promises about whatever that is. But once you do make that commitment, to stick to it. It really is the stick intuitiveness. And the 363, that's an action we take upon opening up and receiving a new way of believing in our own ability to receive and act upon a belief that really opens us up, like it's in alignment. Listen to your voice and listen to what if. So that is fantastic there. Okay, then on Fantastic Friday, what do we got here? Fantastic Friday, guess what? This is where reality takes a twist. The earth, you cannot make this shift up. We have a singer in the house, plus we have an extra, I'm all in it, an igniter. But we do have a singer of a connection, so we're moving into the season of Libra, and I have yet to do the Sacred Circle Libra meditation, all in reflector divine timing, I will say. But the singer of connection, it's time to partner with yourself, to really marry yourself. I actually did that. I bought myself a ring, like my own personal wedding ring, if you will, of all things. And if you're new to my show, the singers these are the great ones. They're the beings whose wings span the multiverse. They go in all directions and all dimensions. And we've given them a multitude of names, whether it's angels, gods, dakinis, doesn't really matter what we call them, but they just really hope and wish that we do call upon them. They are the beings of the underlying song of the universe. These really are the great ones. They really show us our own potential, the potential that we ultimately can become, and they assist us. They comfort us when we fall off our path. We're at a crossroads. They are really always with us. I would really call them the guardians. Their ancient wisdom, energy, compassion. Again, all we have to do is ask for them, to call upon them, whether it's through prayer, meditation, connection, invoking, just allowing their essence, their streams to really flow through us, paying attention. But the singer of connection, who doesn't love that already? It just tells me right there that we're going to be going to have this spiritual connection. It's connected to our throat center, but it's also karma, it's balance, it's having empathy, it's our hearing sister. So this singer actually supports all connections in divine timing. It's the web of life, the web of light between all beings, particles, between future, past, present. And we did have the gnomic of past, present, future. So this brings wholeness to apparent duality. I would also bring in the absolute, the polarity, duality, absolute, because it's light. It combines all energies uniting all that was, is, or could be. So when we lose awareness of this divine connection in our day-to-day lives, we often feel isolated, lonely. But this energy is always there. Like just saying out loud, I am connected. We only need to be open to it. There are even emotions that really assist us to open up. emotions like love, compassion, flow, trust, so on and so forth, peace. But there are other emotions that we tend to close down around unless we make a special effort, consistent effort, to really keep our hearts open. These emotions are or feelings are jealousy, anger, fear, grief, and others of those really painful natures. It's kind of like when somebody puts a knife in your back and you know it energetically, but sometimes these very emotions, when carried to an extreme, really cause us to really break down. And then that's when the breakthrough into the song of the universe, ecstasies, happens. It may feel risky, but it's risky all the way to really flow into this extreme difficult energy, more so because more often than not, the breakdown just stays broken for a very long time or twisted. And that's when we retreat back to our more Humpty Dumpty version of our original self. What a better idea to become ever more aware of our essentially holistic nature, our divine timing, our starlight, is to work at keeping our hearts open, flowing, streaming, seeing relationships, connecting with an elemental, being centered, connecting with the earth, even in meditation, and just really letting go of all of our defenses that we become invulnerable. But it's through the power of the singer that all connections are actually made, they're held, and they're also released and possibly liberated, I would say. It's kind of appropriate. So the singer is really here today indicating the connection of all the things, especially reconnecting those aspects of us that have been split apart, divided. It's unifying or reunifying, connecting. It's telling us that we need to be aware of all the connections, the connectivity between different aspects of an issue, maybe something that we're discussing, as well as the connections between people, places, things that are all linked by it. And we also need to build more connections, a network of mutual support, community. So it's like support, strength, flowing through the connections between each another. It's like being a conduit. Everything involved, it's connectivity. So the presence is already there. And to top it off, the singer of connection, I have another little fae that just jumped off the table. So I sit in meditation and connect with whatever messages I decide to tune into. And then I start moving them. And as they fly off, I give them a day. So that's how that happens. And today I had a little fae jump off the table, which I'm excited about this fae. It kind of reminded me of myself. I'm not going to lie. But we did have a 63 and now we've got a 36. So there is really an opening of receiving a gift, a belief that's merging and marrying. There's a new action, character, behavior that's really becoming authenticated. And Spirit Dancer, that right there really says it all. It's the dance of spirit. And she's actually part of the fairy guides and guardians, the different elementals of the fae. But these fae really assist us in really developing our gift and purpose, our talents, our own personal natural magic. They really devote time, energy to really guiding us, assisting us to discover the joys of living and being in harmony and the harmonics of nature. It really reminds me of Spirit Mama. I've been called Spirit Mama by multiple. It makes me feel like myself, otherworldly and all. But this is about our self-expression. It's freedom. It's exploration. It's understanding both sides of our self-expression. And I don't know if you can see her fairy crown. She does have a magnificent fairy crown, I will say. But in the first stage, this is where we get our inner vision, our feelings. It's feeling and sensing creative impulses out into the world through our art. And art is also magic and medicine, whatever that is for each and every one of us. Then that's when our expression becomes reflected back to us from the mirror of other people's perceptions. So this is when we discover what our art, what our magic, what our medicine awakens within them. And actually, more importantly, for a lot of us, this is where we learn, grow, lead more satisfying lives. If we have ways of expressing our inner world, these expressions can be a way of assisting others to really better understand our feelings, our experiences. Got to be in sacred space though, right? And then they can be a way of even assisting others to get out of pain, where we can look at it from a different, higher perspective, and then allow it to begin to heal. Creative expression is really a method of exploring our own magical truth and bringing it into the light so that we can see it more clearly, maintaining our own inner sanity, if you will. The key words here really are exploring, experimenting, and expressing. It's art. And there's perfection in the dance of spirit. It's perfect. And secondly, creative expression is really a way of sharing, letting others see more of our true, authentic self, our light, our magic, our medicine. It's a way that we can reach out from the illusion of feeling separation, and really reaffirming our essential connections with each other. So when we share the dance, the magic, the medicine, the dance is painting, could be a poem, could be clay, with others. We do so with the hope that they will see something of what we have put really into it. It's like the ingredients. I'm thinking of like I love to make spaghetti from scratch. So it's like the ingredients of the sauce. That's their experience. It's going to echo ours in some magical kind of way. But if we've done very well, we're then able to really add something to that experience, an ingredient. And at the same time, that's when we understand that their vision of things might be a little different, might be a little tweaked, and they reflect that back to us by their response. Or maybe they contain something that we haven't seen about our own experience, new insight, a different point of view, expression of our picture of reality. So this kind of creative expression, the sharing part, really enriches us in a different way than the actual creation of it. So it's something that I've heard a lot of people say who do not consider themselves real artists or real authors. I don't. But I actually wrote a novel called Changing Faces, and the experience people got through reading it was very different than my intention. It was like, wow. And it let me see into where they were in their world at that moment when they read it. But she's encouraging us to take action, creative action, from our own place of personal power, the inner feelings, the inner core of our true innate feelings, and understanding within our own selves. It's about really getting into the flow, the clarity of our vision, our gift, and our purpose, and finding that creative potential that really lies in the paradox, the confusion, the chaos, the mystic, and the magic. It's like splash pad landing kind of stuff. And then they turn into the free-flowing kind of balance, evolving order. So she really wants to assist us in making our best fantasies become real. She's enthusiastic. She wants to help us to learn to dance and really connect with all the fae. And if we don't already know how, if we do know how, she's still like the spark, the delight to do the dance, just for the absolute light, the fun, the laughter, the poetry, the joy of it. So it's a message of really stepping out boldly, being otherworldly, and just showing us that we might become entangled in our own unexpressed magic, unexpressed fantasies maybe. Maybe we're feeling self-absorbed, possibly obsessed, feeling angry, overly driven, maybe unable to express our own feelings in any magical way except through the destruction, but on the other side. This may also be, which I like this better, it might be a block, an artist block. And the cure for that is just creating, even if the creation falls short of what your goal is, even if it's lacking originality, freshness, or trivial pursuits. So it's a message to just really do it. It's a matter of priming or primping, priming the primp, I guess, is kind of what it feels like, under the waters of creativity, emotion, inspiration, flowing freely. I would actually do a water ritual if you're feeling a creative block. Get into the flow of water, like stuck in the mud, unable to flow. So with our messages, the choreography of the stars and feeling into patience, feel the earth, the transformation is kind of taking form. You may not see it as of yet, but remain connected to the singer, the connection there, and go to the waters at the end of the week. I would actually affirm that I am in divine flow, allowing the universe to guide me. Divine patience, right? Patience and timing, possibly a divine intervention. So that was kind of a mystical, magical, a lot for this week, but I just love the Fae, and I should have brought in my fairy house. Comment below if you'd like to see the fairy house. And I will see you on the other side. Ashe, blessings, as always.
Kids, but she has a partner that she's been with, you know, have house together, all that for 35 years and doesn't have children. She has her career. And, you know, for her, knowing that she has comfort and that she is, you know, in a place of feeling settled, that's her all. You know, knowing that she has the money to do whatever she wants and the freedom to do it, that's her having it all. And like you said, you know, it's like that white picket fence, 2.5 kids. I don't know how you have 2.5 kids. I don't know, maybe that's the dog or the cat or something, but you know, not everybody wants the same thing. And we all shift too, you know, in our 20s, our having it all is different from in our 30s or our 40s, or now even in my 50s. You know, it's different and we get to evolve with it, but focusing on what do we really want? What really lights us up? What really fills our heart?